A recent study says that landlord evictions are associated with poor health in children. But are landlords to blame? I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News.
For more than a decade, Judge Anna Huberman has donned the robe. Her most common case, evictions.
I think an average of $400 a month times 12 months for 10 years.
And while cases did drop during the pandemic, she and her fellow judges are seeing a 67% increase so far this year. That's more cases to flip through and thousands of rulings to hand out.
And it's very draining. It's very draining.
Today, she hears 4 cases in 30 minutes. First, from a man with dialysis who couldn't pay after his roommate moved out. Next, a man who fell behind on rent after his wife had a stroke and ended up in the hospital.
And I do wish your wife a speedy recovery. But unfortunately, hardship is not a defense to the non-payment of rent.
All right, so I have an interesting article for you today, and it's going over basically the health of children. Obviously, I have a daughter, and I want to make sure she is super, always in good health and healthy and happy and good. But when I read an article like this, right, and they're looking at 2 different issues, right? They're looking at evictions, and then they're looking at the health of people who've been evicted, and specifically of children. So they've somehow linked or associated these 2 things together, and they believe that evictions are actually causing the poor health of these children. And I disagree. I don't think that eviction has anything to do with the poor health of the children. Okay, it's unfortunate that they got caught up in the situation where their parents are being evicted, but their health outcomes don't have anything to do with eviction. Okay, so yeah, it's a interesting study. I think that they're getting correlation and causation issues, like where they don't understand, is it correlated or is it you know what I mean? It's not. They just need to understand that we can make ridiculous connections to 2 different things anytime we want, and come up with the conclusions that look good on paper, and it's not the truth though, and we need to stick to the facts. Okay, so before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button, maybe leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Do you believe that evictions are leading to poor health in children? I don't, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the study is right. Maybe I need to be punished for evicting people with kids because I put them in bad health for the rest of their lives. Huh? I don't think so. But anyway, let's get into this article. So it's coming from helio.com, and it says, worrisome data link eviction to poor health in children. Let's see what it says. Eviction was associated with increased odds of poor health in children and their parents, according to a study published in Pediatrics. According to the findings, children who were forced to move in the past 5 years were more likely to be in fair or poor health, at developmental risk, and also more likely to have been admitted to the hospital from the ED. I don't know what the ED is, but anyway. Co-author Stephanie Edinger de Cuba, PhD, MPH, Executive Director of Children's Health Watch, and an assistant research professor at Boston University, told Helio that the project began with an interest in how evictions affected very young children in the last decade, following the Great Recession in 2008. So the first problem I see with the study is, right, they went into the study looking for, people who had, for causes, for things that eviction caused. They were like, oh, we're going to prove that eviction is bad. That was their whole goal of the study, right? Now, what they don't mention is the fact that, hey, let's look at the demographics of the people who are being evicted, right? And when you look at people who are being evicted, they are primarily much lower income people. Okay, they're not upper income people. So not only that, but more people are evicted who are minorities. That's just a fact, right? So when we look at people who are lower income and minorities, we start to see that, hey, their health in general is already, they have worse health than the middle class, non-minority population. Okay, that's just a fact. And just saying, hey, well, the eviction caused it. Well, these people were already not in the best health, okay, because because of their income and because of their, their different, racial groups just have more health issues. And, we can look at the rates of obesity in lower income people being higher. We can look at the rates of smoking being higher. The children could be affected by secondhand smoke within the household. Their diets consist of more processed foods and less healthy foods. They tend to exercise less. I mean, all of this stuff is already known. Yet they come and they say, well, the eviction is the cause. No, it's not, okay? These things they're challenges, they're things that people are fighting with without even being evicted. This can happen to lower income people who own their homes even, So this is complete garbage in my opinion. So let me keep going. The focus on young kids really comes from the fact that children are in the sensitive period of development with the fastest brain and body growth of their entire lifetime. And that really lays the foundation for future health and cognitive, social, emotional, and motor skills. Edinger de Cuba and colleagues surveyed 26,441 caregivers for renter households in Baltimore, Boston, Little Rock, Arkansas, Philadelphia, and Minneapolis, and asked questions about family demographics and any child or adult hardships being experienced. She said they also asked for details about eviction history because court data often do not include informal evictions which take place without a court action. They found that 3.9% of their interviewees reported an eviction of any kind in the previous 5 years, and of those evicted, 57% had gone through formal legal eviction processes, whereas an additional 43% faced informal eviction. So here's another thing that they said that they only interviewed renters, okay? And they only interviewed renters in these, big cities. So we're not, like the study is very biased. It's very biased. They were looking for the conclusion that, hey, eviction is bad. Well, we know that eviction isn't good. I'm not saying that anybody likes to go through eviction, okay? What I am saying is that the solution that these people that they're going to come up with is, we're going to ban evictions. We're going to, do an eviction moratorium. We're going to put good cause eviction laws into place. We're going to make it impossible for a landlord to evict anybody because, look, it hurts the children. That's what they're trying to do here. I can read between the lines. I'm not a moron. You guys aren't morons either, okay? All they really want to do is make it as hard as possible for landlords to evict anyone. And this study, it's incomplete, it's inaccurate. We have the issues of correlation and causation, and yet people will read this and they'll think it's 100% true. They'll just read the title. They won't read through the whole study and figure out, hey, there's a lot of information here missing. No, they will believe what they want to believe based on the title alone. And I absolutely hate that they put studies like this out because this is, one of those things that the overreaching government agency is going to come up there and be like, yeah, no, the politicians are going to come up there. Yeah, landlords are bad. We're ending all evictions. We read this study that said evictions hurt children, so therefore all evictions are banned. And next thing you know, we're sitting here and we're not getting paid rent, and we got to be the free housing provider for a bunch of bums, okay? So, interesting study. I got a link for the study in my description for this video if you're interested in reading the rest of this article.